Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where in the world you are joining us from. Hello, my name is Rosalie Olmstead. I am the Strategic Partner Coordinator here at Women in Cybersecurity. We often go by our acronym, WiCyS, because that is exactly what we are, a global cyber sisterhood. But before we get started and I turn it over to our incredible program committee and panelists, I'd like to give you a brief overview of the WiCyS organization. WiCyS is a 501c3 nonprofit with a mission to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity. Our community is made up of over 11,000 members in 107 different countries. We have 68 professional affiliates and 321 student chapters around the globe. We offer a wide range of initiatives and skills development programs for all career levels. Some of our initiatives include our monthly newsletter, our annual conference, which is taking place in National Harbor, March 11th through the 13th, and the Fall Virtual Career Fair, which is happening on September 24th, next Wednesday. Additionally, all of our job openings for our strategic partners are listed on the Job Board++ year-round. Currently, we have the following programs accepting applications. Our book club is happening next month. Our ISC2 Fall Camp has applications open until September 22nd. The Stage Ready Fellowship Public Speaking is open until tomorrow, September 19th, and our Vulnerability Disclosure Program will be available in opening applications ongoing. I'd like to take a brief moment to thank all of our strategic partners that fund our organization year-round. Our Tier 1 partners being 3M, Akamai, Amazon, Bloomberg, Cisco, Ford, Google, Lockheed Martin, Optum, Palo Alto Networks, SANS Institute, and SentinelOne. Throughout the entire webinar, please feel free to drop any of your questions down in the question box below. We're going to be addressing all the questions at the end during a Q&A session. And lastly, if you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to the WiCyS newsletter to stay up to date on all of our upcoming programs and events. You can find it at wicys.org in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Danielle Strimbo. Danielle, you are muted.
Thank you. I'm Danielle Strimbo. I'm the Executive Assistant and Program Coordinator here at WiCyS. And I would like to introduce my co-hosts here today, Ambareen Siraj, Celeste Matarazzo, Rosalie, who you've already met, Betta Lyon Delazardo, Heather Holliday, Lingxi Zhang, and Suzanne Delver joining us to help with this presentation today. We wanted to just give you a little bit of a history of WiCyS as an organization. As Rosalie mentioned, we started in 2014, and we've got some highlights here as we've grown through time, and we celebrated 10 years as an organization in 2024 in Nashville, where we returned to the same as our original conference. So kind of exciting to have that. As you can see, we had a smaller group in 2014, and we've got a much bigger crowd at our 2025 conference, so we've grown significantly during that time. If you look at the numbers for our 2025 conference, we had over 2,300 attendees, which is really exciting for us. You can see the growth of our attendance here in the bottom left corner. We've got student attendee breakdown here. We've had a very big growth in this and a nice mix of students and professionals at our conferences. As Rosalie mentioned, our conference will be taking place March 11th through the 13th at the Gaylord National Harbor Resort and Convention Center in the DC area. We are also hosting a virtual conference April 22nd through 23rd of 2026, and this call for presenters is for both of these conferences. Our program committee this year, we have our conference co-chair for programs, Ambareen Siraj. We've got Celeste Matarazzo, Celeste, our conference co-chair for program logistics, and I'm our program coordinator. We also have some amazing volunteers who are participating and providing our co-leads. They will help with our reviewers as we go through the review process for our conference, and we greatly appreciate their time and efforts to help us with this. So our conference, we have currently open our call for presenters, our call for scholarships, and our call for volunteers open at the moment. And now I'm going to turn it over to Celeste so that she can review some of our other details.
So just to remember that the call for presenters and the scholarships deadline is October 15th, and the call for volunteers is coming up soon at the 22nd. So just keep those in mind. Our timeline is that the submission deadline is through the October 15th. But posters will be, the student posters have until December 15th. All our deadlines are 5 p.m. Central Time, and our notification status will notification of the status will happen on December 3rd. And we are submitting, this pool of submissions is for both the in-person and virtual conference. So in 2026, we've updated the tracks to keep things fresh and to be attentive to the current trends. So the first category, and when you do your submissions, which we'll give an example of later, you do need to pick tracks. So the first one is skill building, and an example is particularly growing specific skills. So whether it's secure coding or AI applications. The next one is about research techniques and innovation. So anything about areas of research and real world cybersecurity challenges and the methodologies and approaches you're using. I'm sorry, losing my voice. I got to get something to drink. An example is, really evaluating the efficacy of a biometric approach to AI attacks. So that would be one of many examples. And the website, the CFP portal has more examples. So tools, trends, perspectives, and sector-specific applications. This is an area, if you're really talking about a perspective maybe relevant to cybersecurity for the energy grid or critical infrastructure or healthcare, this would be a topic area for you. A threat monitoring application for healthcare providers would be a good example. The next category is education, workforce development, and community. And this is a place where all kinds of cybersecurity education programs and training approaches for addressing workforce development and education opportunities and ideas for the upcoming, for increasing the availability and pipeline of students. So an example here is a K through 12 cybersecurity curriculum, particularly for an after-school program. The final category is career development, advancement, and management. So this is all type of, personal wellness, internships and apprenticeships, resume, development, job searching techniques. And an example is a hands-on, approach to exploring maybe how some of the AI tools can be helpful for job searching. I want to remind everybody that the CFP has a mentor program. So if you're new to submitting or just want a little extra help or, a second pair of eyes on your submission, this is a good opportunity to request a mentor specifically for the CFP process. And to do that, you would send a request for mentoring at program@WiCyS.org. We have a set of wonderful volunteers who have agreed to be mentors, and we will match you and get you a mentor, and you can make arrangements with that mentor for throughout the CFP process. The deadline, just to give you enough time to meet with your mentor, the deadline for requesting a mentor is October 1st. So I really encourage you to take advantage of this program. So now we're going to talk about the different categories of submissions that we have, and you have to pick categories when you do the submission process. The first one I'm going to talk about panels. A panel is a good place to bring together a group of people where a diverse set of a variety of different perspectives or experiences are a good way of sharing and discussing a topic. Maybe a case where understanding maybe different career opportunities from an academic, industrial, and research point of view. So, the idea about panels is that you have a moderator and a panelist, and they provide some insights for the audience. The next category, so notes about the panel is we have 5 slots for panels. Panels are 45 minutes in duration. There is a moderator and 2 or 3 panelists. So the maximum is 3 panels, but you really need to have at least 2. And really the whole idea is that there are some clear takeaways for the panel discussion. So, and when you're submitting your panel discussion, you need to when you submit the panel entry, you should have confirmed the panelist at the time of submission. Birds of a Feather are a good opportunity to get a group together that share common interests, really can be on any topic. The idea is really the community of discussion and really insights from the group that gathers. And it's, really a place for a wide range of topics. There are 5 Birds of a Feather slots. Again, these are 45 minutes in duration. The idea of a bird of a feather is really to be interactive and engage the audience. So there are 2 presenters, really with the whole idea of facilitating the communication of the, managing and facilitating the communication of the group. And posters, the student person competition is really a great place for students to shine and show their work. It can be about work in progress. It can be some results you've done on a capstone project. It could be a small individual or larger group. And it's really a way, one of the most important things in technical communications is being able to share your results for others to build upon, and a poster is a great way to do that. And there are 2 categories. There are undergraduate and graduate. The first researcher should be a female, and this could be about work in progress. We encourage that if it's a team, that the first person listed on the poster is the presenter, and a way to sort of capture the new research that's going along. And some examples of past posters. Poster session notes, this is really a way to, think about conveying what's important about your work, describing what's it about, your approach, and your outcomes and next steps. So it's really important to be able to communicate the state of your projects and your research. It could be about research, it could be about development projects, in a way to convey why it's important, what you contributed, and how you went about it, and really the next steps. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Danielle.
Thank you, Celeste. So our workshops are really a great opportunity to dig into something truly technical. They're about 1 hour and 45 minutes long and give you an opportunity to walk through a new technical capability that you found, software that you found useful, putting together something that the participants can actually use their computers, walk through, and truly learn hands-on how to perform different things within the cybersecurity world. This is a presentation that is for 150 plus attendees, so do keep in mind that it is a large audience, and as part of the submission process, you will want to make sure that you're telling them what they need technology-wise during the workshop. So it's We're going to have 14 workshop possibilities for our conferences, or conference, the in-person conference, forgive me. You can have up to 4 presenters. Now that can be you as a presenter. It can also have people who are walking through the audience to assist people as they get questions where they might need something a little bit more hands-on. Again, suitable for a large audience. And you're going to need to note whether they need a laptop. Would a tablet be suitable for them to be able to participate in this? One recommendation I would say is that you will want to note if it needs to be a particular type of laptop. If a Chromebook is not going to be sufficient for the task at hand, you'll want to note that so that they know they need a Windows machine, they need a Mac, they need to be able to have a Linux environment. Those kind of details will help the participants in being able to make sure that they are able to fully participate in this. On this, the first presenter will receive a complimentary registration and a credit for the Gaylord National Harbor for their stay, and they can use that either for the stay itself or they can use it towards amenities on the property during the conference. Second person will receive a complimentary registration. However, the Gaylord credit is specifically for the first person on the presentation for the workshop. And you want to make sure that you are listing the people who will be there for presentation. Lightning talks. Lightning talks are a great opportunity if you're nervous about presenting it your first time and you want to be able to do something, but you're a little bit nervous to do something for a longer period of time. These are 5-minute talks where you're able to quickly discuss a topic and present on something without having to fill 45 minutes. So if you're a little unsure, you want to be able to get up and present, this is a great opportunity for you to do so. Here we do have a couple of examples for you so that you can kind of see what were some past topics that you can use as examples to understand a little bit more what these look like. We have 16 of these available for people, 2 sessions during the conference, 8 talks during each of those 2 sessions. And like I said, maximum of 5 minutes. So nice, quick, get it something that you want to talk about, but you're not doing the long presentation. It is a one-person presentation. It is not something for multiple people. And then complimentary registration. It does not have a Gaylord credit. Presentations. This is one of our larger portions of our conference. These are 45 minutes in duration. It can be multiple speakers, and you can work on any of the different topics at hand. Last year, these 2 examples were great talks that we felt were worthy of sharing with you for examples on what you might want to present on or how you might present your abstract during your application process. There are 30 slots for our presentations. So we do have that. Maximum of 2 presenters on this. We don't want to have you worrying about too many people having to bounce around for talking. Interaction is limited to a 10-minute Q&A at the end. So make sure you leave a little bit of time for that for people because they do like to ask their questions. First person will get the complimentary registration and the Gaylord credit. The second person will get their complimentary registration, but does not receive that credit. You want to make sure that both of you are listed on your submission so that there aren't any issues with that. And if you're accepted for the virtual conference, you do receive complimentary registration for that virtual conference. And with that, Ambareen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ambareen Siraj. And I'm so glad that you all found time to listen to this webinar, whether you're doing it in real time or at your own time. We're glad that you're interested and thinking about submitting to WiCyS call for presentations. So I just want to maybe further try to motivate you. Why should you even consider submitting to WiCyS CFP? So I thought of 10 reasons. And the first one is be seen and heard at the largest world stage that spotlights women in cybersecurity. WiCyS is the largest women in cybersecurity conference, and we'd love for you to share our stage. And second, we want you to showcase your talent and at work at the conference that brings together people from industry, government, and academia. So you'll have a wide range of audience. And we want you to share your knowledge and expertise with this community. Maybe while doing it, sharpen your skill as a presenter. It is a great venue for first timers, and even if you're old timer, you have done it many times, we would still like to hear you shine at our stage and do what you do best. And when you come to the conference, you will see that you'll feel at home with your own community and inspire others like you by sharing your craft. And by doing so, by learning from you, you help us to recruit, retain, and advance more women in cybersecurity. You help your community advance. And most importantly, we want you to be heard and seen at the world's largest stage for women in cybersecurity. So let me shed a few lights on how the submission selection process works. So we are very transparent. So when you submit proposals, you can submit in multiple proposals if you want in different categories or tracks. So we don't limit you, but we would highly, highly discourage that you dress the same talk at different categories. So if it's different things you want to do, then you're very welcome. And all these submissions will be peer reviewed with the presenter names, email, and affiliation anonymized. So when reviewers look at the submission, they don't look at who is submitting. So whether this is your first time or you have done it 100 times, the reviewers can tell. All they have is the content of your submission. And this set of reviewers are selected from WiCyS members who graciously volunteered their time to serve in the program committee. And without their help, we couldn't do this. By the way, call for volunteers is now open for WiCyS members. And I just also wanted to stress that each submission is reviewed by at least 2 reviewers, and then the co-lead and then program leadership also as it bubbles up as top recommendations. So at first, reviewers submit their reviews with scores using our CFP system. And then the subcommittee meets for each category to discuss their top submissions. And then the subcommittee leads with the program committee leaderships and select recommendations. And once all the recommendations are viewed, then across different program categories and tracks, we finalize the selection. Still, we don't see, who you are, the people behind the submission. And once everything is selected, then the presenters are notified and they're asked to register by deadline. If someone fails to register by deadline, then we go into our backup selection. So I hope it gave you some idea on how the selection process works. When we do the selection, our goal is that we want to have a balanced program portfolio across tracks and categories. So if there is a talk proposed on, say, the subject is X, and if we see that that subject X bubbled up as top in every category on tracks, we try to replace with something else so that not everything everywhere is just talking about X. And we also try not to repeat the same content, exactly the same content from recent conferences. Obviously, the subject can be same, but the content has to be different. And we want to provide opportunities to presenters across different backgrounds and organizations. So we don't have a situation that, people from X organization are doing multiple presentations in multiple categories or tracks. But whatever we do, while we do these three things, we will never compromise quality, because quality is the topmost priority. The good news is we get so many submissions every year that we have so many recommendations, top recommendations. It is very, very hard to select the ones to accept. But even when we do, there are many equally good ones in backups that we can always reach into. So rubric that we give out to the reviewers when they score the submissions. So we tell them to look at these things. We tell them to look at if the content is really relevant to cybersecurity, privacy, forensics, or career development in these areas. We tell them to look at if it's relevant to the tracks that were identified by the author. We tell them to see whether it's technical, and if it's not technical, whether it's thought-provoking. They assess it for whether it's a timely topic, whether it's creative and innovative, whether it addresses a problem or a solution, or both of them. And does it have clear takeaways or research outcomes for the audience? And is the session engaging for the attendees? And the abstract description, if it's well articulated and if it's really provide a very good overview of the content to expect. And the session outline provides a good idea about what's going to happen in the session, what activities will be conducted, what topics will be covered, what are the expected outcome. So some general tips is make sure your topic is relevant and specific. So I always tell people to look at, recent conferences, recent reports on cybersecurity threats and trends, and see what's the buzz about, what people are currently worried about, what they're working at. Obviously, they have to be related in cybersecurity and privacy, match to one of the tracks or categories. If not, career development for cybersecurity professionals. Remember that although this conference is called Women in Cybersecurity, not all submissions need to be specifically about women in cybersecurity. And there should not be any vendor pitch in proposal submission. So if your company has a product, don't submit a don't submit a talk that sounds like you're trying to sell the product. There would be technology showcase with tool demonstrations that will be offered to the sponsors. This is the first year we are doing that. So hopefully that will be of interest to the audience as well. Making sure that your content is to the point and it goes by the limits. So make sure it describes, what you're trying to address. Be within the word limits that is intended for the abstract and session outlines. Remember that session outline is not going to be published in the proceeding, only the abstracts. And please make sure that even in the abstract or session outline, you don't give out your company's name or your name. And we always advise that you write in third person. So instead of saying, I will talk about this, say this talk will present or discuss something. So again, in short, tips for competitive submissions. It has to be timely, innovative, brings a unique perspective of how you see the problem or how you came up with the solution. It should be engaging, whether with a laptop or through conversation or activity. Address problem or solution, clear takeaways for the audience. Okay, I think that slide got repeated again. Okay, the slide is not advancing for some reason. Rosalie, can you see if you can advance the slide? Oh, now it did. Okay, so right now we have a panel that we invited, and we thought that instead of us telling you about how and why you should submit to WiCyS, we invited past presenters that presented at WiCyS, attended at WiCyS to talk about their experiences. So I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves. So Beta.
Hi, everybody. I'm Beta. I'm a lead application pen tester at OnDefend. And this past WiCyS, I gave a talk called Hacking AI Easy as Pie. It was my first major conference presentation. And I had like 200 people at my talk. So it was really exciting, and it really boosted my confidence. I went on to submit to a bunch of other talks. And since then I've spoken at the World Bank and DEF CON. So I just really like to encourage people to speak at this, WiCyS is a great supportive environment to start out in, and then you can go from there.
Okay, Heather, would you introduce yourself? Then I'll ask the questions.
Certainly. So my name is Heather Holliday. I am a VP in Tech Risk and Controls for a leading financial institution. I am a self-proclaimed cyber enthusiast and have a passion for making our communities safer, and often volunteer in my local area to share safe cyber practices online to audiences of all ages. So in 2024, I presented at the conference on using artificial intelligence in governance, risk, and compliance.
Thank you, Heather. Lindsay?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Lingxi Zhang. I'm an assistant professor of computer science at Central Michigan University. My research is about automotive cybersecurity and edge AI. 2023, I gave a presentation regarding my research, and currently I also serve as a faculty advisor for a student group at CMU to support diversity in computing.
Thank you. Suzanne?
Hello, everyone. My name is Suzanne Dove, and I'm an associate fellow and enterprise architect with Lockheed Martin, where I deliver secure and resilient software and system solutions for my customers. excited to be here and talk to you about what I've done with WiCyS presenting in the past, and here we are going for the future.
So Susan, I'll start with you. First, tell me, why did you submit to WiCyS in the first place? First time whenever you submitted, what motivated you to submit to WiCyS?
2 years ago, myself and 3 colleagues submitted to do a workshop, and I really wanted to share my knowledge and experience with others, both new to the field and experienced, such that we could learn new things and also engage with each other to collaborate and find opportunities to make the topic on which we were presenting even better going forward in the future.
Thank you, Susan. Lindsay?
Sure. I submit to WiCyS because definitely this is a unique platform to share my research, also supporting women or represented groups in cybersecurity. I also want to contribute to this mission and connect my technical work with this awesome and broader community. That's
Thank
my
you, Lindsay. Heather?
Yeah, so I submitted to WiCyS as a part of my own continuous development. I joined the WiCyS Speaker Forum and had been working on fine-tuning my public speaking skills. And the WiCyS conference gave me an opportunity to share my insights with colleagues and friends in my favorite professional organization. So I was thrilled to be there.
Thank you, Heather. Beta?
Yeah, I didn't even think of really submitting to conferences until a friend of mine encouraged me to. I had been doing some talks on AI hacking at like local schools and things, and I was like, maybe people would enjoy this in a bigger forum, and turns out they did. So I think I just encourage everybody to throw something out there, and you never know what could happen.
So I think you already spoke to it a little bit, but Beta, I'm asking again, what has been your experience presenting at the WiCyS conference? How is it different from other conferences you have, if you have presented at other conferences?
Yeah, I would say WiCyS is one of the most engaging and like rewarding audiences because everybody's there to support each other and they're really excited to talk and interact. So it's just like a really special experience to have that kind of thing. And also, if you're a first time speaker, it's really supportive. Like you're not going to get heckled. People are there to support you and cheer you on. So I think if you're nervous about it, this is like a really great place to start.
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, I really will just echo those same comments. I was so surprised that I received amazing support from my colleagues at my own company who made a special effort to attend my presentation. And the participants were so much fun to work with. Everyone was very engaged and very supportive. So even though I was very nervous, they made it an amazing experience.
Thank you, Heather. Lindsay?
Sure, I just want to say the same word, rewarding. Actually, when I was a student, I already start to get involved here. In the beginning, I present a poster, and until 2023, I got a job as this assistant professor, and I finally try to give the larger presentation. Yeah, like always, no matter poster or presentation, the audience is always very nice, engaged, and supportive. I receive many valuable feedback, help refine my research, also polish my presentation skills. Also, another part I want to mention is it's always exciting to see the students and the professionals interested in the work I present in my domain. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Suzanne?
I really like this organization to present because it's big enough that you have a variety of folks that come and listen and ask questions and engage, which is wonderful. And there's also this energy of people new to the cybersecurity community, whether they be very young, right out of school or in school, or transitioning into the field. And to have that attitude and to have those experiences and to talk to people and engage and teach and learn from each other is really excellent. And so facilitating this workshop 2 years ago was nothing like I'd ever experienced at other conferences before because of the desire for people to learn, to meet each other, and to engage. And that was really special.
Thank you, Susan. So I'll start with you again. Susan, when you present at WiCyS, of course, you're also there as an attendee, right? So besides your presentation, as an attendee, what has been your, what has stood out most at you, or what has been the favorite part?
I learn a ton, I make new friends, and I leave exhausted because I'm an introvert, but I can't stop talking and meeting new people all the days. So I just love it.
Thank you, Susan. Lindsay?
Yeah, I think like this experience is really like inspiring. Yeah. This the unique of this conference, like a mix of technical sessions, mentoring opportunities, networking opportunities. All those create a very welcoming environment. I also meet my collaborators there. Also bring back some ideas for my like both research and the teaching.
Thank you. Heather?
I have only had the opportunity to attend the last couple of years, but both times were such amazing opportunities to network with other professionals from around the world. I love connecting with people from all different walks of life. And I found actually one of my favorite things was helping to judge the student posters. It's so impressive to see the research and the thoughtfulness of students who are coming up behind those of us who've been in the field of work for a while. It was very inspiring and amazing to see everything that they put together. So that was one of my favorite parts.
Thank you, Heather. And Beta?
Yeah, I just think, like other people have said, that the networking is just really incredible. And I think that's one of the special things about WiCyS is it puts all of these amazing women in one space where you can actually go and meet people. And there's people that I've wanted to catch up with, or people I've only met online, and I can go in person and actually get to know them. And just a lot of connections have really strengthened after that. So I just really encourage people to take advantage of that when you're there in person with people.
Thank you. So last question, Beta. What is your number one tip for anyone thinking to submit to WiCyS?
Yeah, I would say to be as specific as possible. The way you're going to stand out from all the other submissions is to have some really niche topic that you know how to talk about. And it's not just a general thing that anyone could do. So what makes you different or specialized? And then also just a sub tip is don't use AI, write your own voice. Don't want to sound like anyone else. So stand out, use your own things to be.
Thank you. Heather?
Yeah, I would say get feedback. Share your proposal with others that you trust to give you honest feedback. Because remember, anytime you're doing a presentation, you're not presenting for yourself, but for your audience. So getting the feedback from others can help you address some of the questions that might not come to mind for you naturally, but might happen across your audience. So very helpful to get others to weigh in.
Thank you. Lindsay?
And my tip will be don't hesitate. Yeah, even if your idea feels early, but WiCyS is always a good place to share. We just need to focus on make the proposal more clear and interesting. You will find the community is very open to support you.
And last but not least, Susan.
You have good ideas, you have experiences and expertise that the rest of us don't. Please don't sell yourself short. If you have an idea, don't be like, oh, that's silly. Take it, own it, write it down, talk to a friend, come to the mentoring program for CFPs for submittal. Embrace your thoughts and run with it and see what happens.
Well, I just want to thank our wonderful, wonderful panelists. I mean, you were so good. I feel like to submit to WiCyS. But anyway, thank you for coming and giving us your time. And it's wonderful to see you and hear from you, and I hope some of the attendees can meet you at the conference and they will come and speak more to you. So just a reminder that submissions are open through the CFP portal, and anyone can submit. Review feedbacks are provided with scores. I just want to also mention that, we do get a lot of submissions for limited slots. If for some reason your submission is not accepted, that doesn't mean that you had a bad submission. It just means that there were too many good ones. But feedback will be provided, and mentoring request is available until October 1st. You just have to go to the CFP webpage and request a mentor. And if when you're selected, if by December 3rd, you'll get notification to register. So with that, I'm going to ask my friend Celeste to tell you about the CFP website.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just want to confirm, if you want a mentor, please send email to program@WiCyS. For a CFP mentor, you send a program@WiCyS.org, and we have volunteers already ready to be available throughout the whole CFP process. I am going to share my screen and give you an example of. Okay, so this is the main CFP portal page. Hopefully everybody can see that. I want to encourage you to, this is the place you come to do a submission. This is the place where under what you need to know, there's lots of useful information, which I'll show you. And also, if you do a submission and want to modify it, this is the place to do that. One of the tips that I have is that it's good to know what the questions are before you sit down to the website. And from this homepage, you can actually download a PDF file that has all the questions, and you can offline think about how to frame your responses. And then when you're at the portal here, you'll be well prepared to do it. So again, this is the main page and the place to kind of come and do many activities. This, what you need to know, lists the important dates for you to keep track of. It gives more examples, as I said, about the different topics, the tracks. It gives you information about the things you need to submit and how you need to submit them. And there's a key button here. There's a submission resources that provide a place for you to see past programs. And that's a good way to see kind of what submissions were part of last year. But also, given that our goal, not to repeat a topic exactly, is to how to figure out what's a new spin if you had a topic to make you competitive this year. So let's go to the submission process. And just to point out, and I'm not going to belittle this, but there's the little red asterisk next to the field means the field is required. And so your ability to proceed won't happen until you complete all the forms. Also within the submission form, you'll be required to pick a category, but if you're wondering what's the information about, you can use these purple boxes and pull down. We went over that very quickly today, but here's a way that you can say what was birds or feather and how does it differ from lightning talk. So right within the process, you can make sure you remind yourself of the different features. And then you will need to submit all the stuff to proceed. And if we want, and we can do an example here. As I said, if I miss a field, it's going to remind me that I didn't do it, and help me enter the information quickly. So I have to pick a country, and this is important. What category? So today, maybe I'm doing a presentation and I can remind myself. And you can see now it's come up and given me the information about the track. So I'm going to talk about research today. This asks you about whether you've presented this before, but this does not, it's really just informational for us and the program committee, and it doesn't change your chances of your being selected. So I'm going to say yes. And perhaps my session is good for a wide variety of levels, so I can select as many as I want. Some fields you're allowed to select more than one, and some fields aren't. So in my case, will they require to have any specialized knowledge? I'm going to say no, but here's a place where if you needed them to, we can do an example. Say my talk is about a particular network security tool. Maybe I'm talking about, Bro or something, and I'd say Bro and Wireshark, are needed, right? And so this would be to make sure you get an audience that can participate to the level of material as specific as you can be will be helpful. And then it helps us to know your intention for who should be the audience. In my case, a technical audience makes sense, but in this case, just to show you that it's only one, it's one or the other, it's not all of the choices. So it really helps to think what your intentions are. So will the session involve participation? This helps us to kind of get more information about what the session will include. So this is participants will be involved in individual activities. And this is the place where the submission title should be meaningful and helpful in the description. Again, it's going to be a way that people are selecting to choose to come to your session. The abstract is limited to 250 words. So you have to be concise and succinct, and it really should clearly convey, and this is the only thing that's going to be published, it should clearly convey the content that you're going to present for the session. And then the session outline really helps the program committee know the different, so we said above that there's going to be individual activities. In the outline is a good place where you can go through and describe what those activities are and give the program committee more details about the flow and the level so that we can see how it fits into our goals of covering the material that we want to cover for the program. And then if it's a presentation, you get to choose whether you want to do it in person, virtual, or both. And so that's important too. And then to be able to come back to your submission or to do part-time, not finish it all at once, you can create a password and then, and it's important, and as you proceed, it's important that you actually make sure you enter all the material. Next one would be all your presenters, and get a submission acknowledgement. If you don't finish, your submission will be in limbo. We were going to do our very best to make sure that you get notified before the deadline that it's not complete. But I would, make sure you go through all the questions, make sure you've answered all the required information, and then hit the confirmation and button, and you should get a submission acknowledgement. And if you haven't done that, you can come back and do that. I'll stop sharing at this point and turn it back to Ambareen.
So I think this concludes our webinar. Hopefully you found it helpful and you are more motivated to respond to the CFP. We know that there are many of you out there who are strong at your craft and you're very good at what you do. So please help us showcase your talent and inspire others like you. So thank you for listening, and hopefully you will submit, and thank you to our co-presenters and panelists.